be anybody watching, but
yeah,
we're going live. We are live.
Well, I'm breathing, so I'm live.
Excellent. I'm going to get over to YouTube to check comments from there. But for the replay, I'm Patrick with Light Source Engraving, and we have Jeremy with HTL Holsters as special guest, and we're going to engrave some glass with our fiber lasers and give you some tips and tricks and settings to help you get started engraving glass with your fiber laser. So while I'm changing lenses and Jeremy is prepping some artwork, I'm going to pop up on my screen some settings for you guys to copy. I'm going to enlarge this so folks can see it.
That one's kind of Christmassy.
On your screen, you see a couple settings that I've used, and then geo-converted settings for myself and Jeremy to use our different lasers, and they have worked. So he provided those settings as well. So if you have a 30-watt Raycus, a 50-watt Raycus, a 50-watt JPT, there are settings right there for you that you can use as starters. Just the main thing to remember with engraving glass with a fiber laser is it's slow.
Yeah, it's 190 on my speed.
Yep, it's a UV is slow as well. It's pretty slow. Yeah. So it's not like you're losing that much in speed. And I have my 80-watt 175 lens settings up there, and we'll just pop your 60-watt settings up. Jack, I'm having Geo convert my 80-watt settings to the 120-watt, because that's what I'm going to be running is the 120-watt. So the pressure's on. If I don't get a settings conversion back from Geo in time, I'll just wing it. All right. What's the one thing that everybody will need to follow this procedure when engraving glass with your fiber laser? And it's the one thing that everybody needs that's not settings for a laser or glass.
Glass?
It's not glass either. Tempera paint. So following this method, oh my gosh, let me focus my eyeballs.
Oh, where's my calculator?
Let me force it. There we go. So this came from Hobby Lobby for like $5. So it's a big bottle of washable paint or tempera paint. You'll see it called either way. So this is the first thing you need. And what we end up doing is spraying it on our glass and using that to react to the fiber. The fiber laser reacts to the paint, heats the glass, and then etches it. I've compared these under the microscope, the UV mark versus the fiber mark here. And under the microscope, they look very similar. The fiber looks better than a CO2 galvo or gantry under the microscope. So that's those. And then how do you get the paint onto your glass? So there are several options there. You can go with one of these little battery-powered airbrush sprayers. So this is one way to go. These will set you back about $40 on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description.
Or you can go with one of these little bombers from Tractor Supply that I bought probably 12, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Hook up the air compressor. I still run it.
That works. Or you can go with one of these beginner airbrush kits that you can get for about $20 at Hobby Lobby or Amazon or wherever. And then I just ran an adapter so that I can just run it right into my regular air compressor line.
Yep. I went to Ace the other day to get one, and it wasn't there. They didn't have any.
Then my favorite so far, I like the little battery one, is this is just a smaller version of Jeremy's from Harbor Freight. So you can see it's a little bit smaller. Just for the small job, it actually works very well, and I just hook it into my
I wish I
compressor
had one
line.
of those.
So
That would have been good.
These don't cost very much at Harbor Freight. Maybe like $20, something like that.
Gotta go back to Lightburn. I'm still working on my stuff.
So if you have questions, please type them in the comments. We will answer them all. We'll give you an answer. It might not be correct, but you will get an answer. Well, I'm going to switch to the widescreen layout there.
Yep. I want
some example glassware to mark, and example glassware that I have marked already, like this one. I actually have some plates and stuff that I've marked before as well. I can grab those in a little bit, but you probably want to see something burn. So I'm going to use my very fancy
That's why I'm
mixture
measuring
ratio for
stuff
paint.
so hard right now.
Mixture ratio for paint in the sprayer. For the sprayer, what I used is 3:2. I used a 3:2 and a 3:1 for the air compressor. So 3:2 for the sprayer, 3:1 air compressor is what I had used.
I might have done that too. I don't remember. I know some of it was still pre-mixed from the last time I dealt with it.
And then if it's too thin when you're spraying it, it'll tend to run. And I left an example of that. Here's some right there. So sometimes if it's too thin, it will start to run and want to drip around your cup. So that's what happens if it's a little too thin. Or if you put it on too thick and there's too much water, not enough paint where it's on thicker, it'll start to run. One thing I did for a couple of these cups is spray a light coat, hit it with I use a heat gun, let it dry, then spray a thicker coat on top of the light, and the light coat helps it stick, and you don't get as many runs, but that's what can happen when you spray it on too thick.
I got a couple runs today, but that's okay.
Or it's mixed too thin.
This is the jar that I did on my video that's on my YouTube channel.
The main thing you want to be looking for is as even of a coat as possible, and you don't want to be able to see through it. So I left some, okay, so that's a little thin here, like right in this area, and then right in this area, just where that rubs off with your finger. You do not want it that thin. You want it to be as opaque as you can get it with a nice even coat so that you can't see through it. Sorry, what were you saying, Jim?
Nothing. I was just showing.
Actually, I think I'm going to use this fancy 3D printed tumbler cup or whatever jig that I made. I modified one guy's design and then made this so it can hold tumblers or whatever for project mark and keep it level and straight. We've done it before. I've done a fiber laser glass live stream before, but that was back before Starlink was working well, and I had a couple different microphones. I don't know if you could hear me when I was talking when I was standing over there. Might have to go to the wireless mics. So you can see here with this 300 millimeter lens. There's no focus stick. Gotta get up to your top. All right, there's the cup. I'm going to frame this logo. And my USB is not happy. I'm running Lightburn. Let's make my camera flicker. Sorry about that.
I think I am about ready to try this thing. I'll try to hold my camera over the
150 lens. Oh my gosh, Jack! I was showing this on Jerry's stream the other day. Let me switch. This is my focal stick for the 400 lens. Well, normally I have a tape measure sitting around. Okay. Yeah, this is a 668 millimeters. That's for the 400 lens. The 300 lens is 480.
Rotary's on.
Fire.
Well, I don't know if you can see a little point right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 300 lens just put a scorch mark about 1/8 of an inch deep in my tabletop. All right, I don't know what's going on, so I gotta.
What do you? Are you firing off stuff that's silent? I hear casings hitting the floor.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, I'm gonna hit start and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I don't shatter the glass. That's okay though. All right, let me fix that and take out my extra one. It just needs to set up long enough till it dries. That is it. All right, now let's try this again. That's a more correct speed.
I had a few things turned on that shouldn't have, so let's try this again.
Oh, I found my mixing cup of water.
Nope.
I've got a backup. Let's burn some glass. There we go. And you can speed your paint setup by taking a heat gun to it, which is what I did to get it to dry faster.
Yep.
So it'll just go from looking glossy to that matte finish whenever it's dry. But it is slow. Like
Apparently,
I said, not any faster.
This thing doesn't work anymore, so.
And with the UV, even with 300 lens, I have not been able to get cylinder correction to work just because of the shallow focal length. And of course, the camera's going to go out of focus, light burn. It's really killing me here. If anybody can identify why my camera flickers, I'm only using one USB port for the camera, why the camera flickers when light burn is on, let's see. I'll send you a burn to learn leather patch. You're not seeing my camera flicker? I see it. I have a PC, and I have it plugged. My camera plugged into a port that is directly connected to the motherboard, so it's not on a USB card, expansion card, or a separate port. It's directly on the motherboard. It does not go away if I restart the PC. I just guessed at this setting, so we'll see. I've changed the cables multiple times. All right, let's see if this was a success or a failure. Where's my bottle of water? This was on pretty thick. I think I needed some more power, but wait until this dries out. I don't want to judge it too soon. All right, I'm just going to use another paper towel to make it dry.
I'm going to get some different art now because that ain't going to work. I have to use cylinder correction.
All right, I just guessed at this setting. I did need a little bit more power because it's faded just a little bit on the edges. However, it's not faded that much. Actually, as it's drying, it's looking even better. But yeah, a little bit more power. I can make that show up for you better.
Cool.
Now that it's dried, it looks much better on the edges, but it is a little faded. So a little more power, and that would have been fine.
Did you get Jim's question with the 110 lens?
Jim's question with the 110 lens.
Yeah, how large will he be able to do on cylinder correction?
Oh, and I just saw Jack saying Windows 10, I cannot stream and fire the laser at the same time. Well, I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to close Lightburn and watch what happens. I don't understand this thing running the latest Windows release, and still lets do that. So there's some USB. It's got to have something to do with Lightburn camera, and it's hunting for a camera to use, and it's causing some sort of interference. That's my theory. Anyway, now that the camera's not flickering, I'll bring this back on full screen. There, no flickers. There, it just flickered. Not near what it was. So it's that easy to get a nice engraving on glass with your fiber lead.
Yeah,
110 lens. 110 lens. If you're not doing cylinder correction, obviously you can go 110 by 110, but with cylinder correction, your focal length that you have to play with for the amount of space that your laser's in focus is going to be so small, you're not going to be able to go very wide. Your best bet would be get a larger lens, like a 300, and then just we can convert your settings and make sure you're running the right setting for that 300. Let's see. Let me open Lightburn up again. And here's another flicker. Jim, I don't know if you saw it earlier. Here are our settings for glass with 30 watt Raycus and a 175 lens. But I'll leave that up there for a minute so you can write that down. You'll have it handy. All right, now let's do a flat engraving. Oh man, paint is not on there. I didn't even notice the crap. That's why I coated this piece of glass like 30 minutes before we were going to go live, and I didn't notice that it didn't dry, or it actually didn't apply appropriately. All right, I'm going to give you a close-up shot of cylinder correction and where I put the focus stick. Flicker reduction setting to 50 hertz. Okay, can do that. You get some artwork, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
All right, I'm gonna just make this full screen while I. Well, we can do that. Yeah, let me just do that. So, let's see. All right, there's the cup I just ran. Basically, of course, you have the top of your glass, which would be right here. And then when you're framing, you'll be able to see how far your logo is going to extend down the side. So this one, maximum was right there. So this is approximately what we're working with. Oops. I'm knocking over honeycombs. So when I have my focal stick, I'm putting it on the object. Not putting it at the top, and I'm not putting it at the bottom. What I'm trying to do is split it halfway. So I got half the focus is up here, and half the focus is down here. So I just go for halfway with the focus stick. Hopefully that made sense. Let's see. With the 300, how wide is that engraved? I did that was a 62 millimeter wide engraving on an object that had a diameter of approximately 95 millimeters. So the diameter of that tumbler, or not tumbler, beer mug is 95 millimeters.
Yeah, this vase I'm doing is about 100. So I'm running at about 65 wide. We'll see where that ends up.
Let's see. Focus in the middle, yes. No USB hub. Windows is up to date. Brant has been peeling and roasting butternut squash from the garden. Very cool.
Nice, Brant.
Sounds yummy. All right. I think if I can get sprayed. Let's see. I did 62 millimeters just a little bit ago. I can go try and go a little bit wider. See how that does. Let's go 75 millimeters.
This isn't cooperating.
Need to borrow the 300 lens for a couple days? I could do that. I wouldn't have a problem. How durable? It ends up looking like a UV glass engraving. So it's a nice etch and it does not come off. Let's see if I have something to scrape against it. Let's see here. I'll take a piece of brass. I use the corner of this brass pry bar. And you don't see anything other than my drawing. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you what this fiber laser glass engraving looks like underneath the microscope. So that is the N in the burn to learn. And let me see. There's an identifiable mark. There's a TM for the trademark. And that looks comparable to what a UV would look like under the microscope. And way better than what a CO2 looks like. All right, Jeremy's doing his base now. I'll pop that up full screen.
I hope it's going to work. There's a lot of thin lines in it, so I don't know how it's going to look.
Are you running it a second time, or is that a second part of the graphic?
No, it was supposed to run a second time, and I must not have turned it on. But yeah, I found out when I did that jar, it works better with 2 passes.
I've never tried 2 passes, so that is good to know. All right, I'm going to try hesitantly. No, we'll just do this other one.
Be interesting to see. That's going to be really subtle. That'll be cool. I get that all peeled off there. And I got to do it 3 more times. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. I want to put something different on the other sides, though. So there's kind of what I was trying to figure out, but I was going to try to do some sort of a little leafy, almost like a garter band or something around that wine glass, but my rotary's not working, so I can't do that.
I'm just eyeballing this, center it up. Now, if you see here, I don't have much paint. I don't think that's going to get a good result to try to go that wide. However, let's bring this around. I don't have enough paint there. Looks fairly level. All right, this is for not exact science. It's fairly level and fairly center. So we're working with that has a taper from top to bottom, where it tapers a little bit more skinny towards the center, and then expands back out at the bottom. And then we have our cylinder correction. All right, so I've got my power increased to hopefully make up for the larger graphic. And this is going to be 75 millimeter wide graphic on that approximately 95 millimeter diameter glass. Let's measure one. Yep, about 95 millimeters. So that's pretty sizable graphic. That's pushing. That's probably about where I'd start on a CO2.
Go ahead, throw your screen up there. I'm just working on stuff in the background.
You got a couple comments there, Jeremy.
Yeah, Jim, it works on the test. It spins both ways. It goes forward, does its thing, and then backs up to the beginning in the test. But I had an issue with it the last time.
All right, I'm going to send this, and we will see what happens.
So I put this flag. I hate this camera. I put that flag only big and 360-degree wrap, and it got about, I would say, 90% done, stopped, rotated all the way back around, and then it rotated another half forward and started putting the tail end of the flag in the middle of the other part of the flag. And then after that, the rotary never started. It never worked again. So it's never worked right again. And I forgot about that till tonight.
Huh. Weird.
I never had an issue with my rotary at all in EasyCAD. I know I just said that. But when I hooked it onto Lightburn, it's never worked right at all.
Did you see those couple comments there for you?
Yeah. Josh says I'm not there. I'm here.
Let's see, 60 watt MOPA M7. I have settings. I can put them back on the screen here in a minute. For a 175 lens.
What's he asking for settings for a 175 lens?
Yep, for a 220 for the 60 watt.
Oh, 220 lens. Yes, you just got to change your power a little bit.
Then Jeremy, tech support is asking, do you have the rotary power plugged in? That was from Jim.
Yeah, I already answered that one.
Okay. And Jerry said thank you for joining in the weekly hangout.
Oh, no problem. That was kind of fun. I wasn't on the spot to try to do something then. Now I am, and it's not working.
Well, that's Murphy's live stream law. There's always something that goes wrong.
Yeah, I watch a YouTube channel doing cars. It's kind of like Vice Grip Garage, but it's called This and That Garage, and he calls it MLS, whatever his name is, and yeah, it happens to all the time. Well, let me see if I can find something else here.
You'll notice that the larger the graphic, the longer it takes.
Yeah, I'm not looking for anything huge.
I increased the size of this graphic by 10 millimeters, but it's going to take significantly longer to run.
Oh, you know what? I think I got some. I'm back. I've been here.
Well, I didn't think you went anywhere.
No, unless I
didn't see you
morphed in
go
and
anywhere.
out somewhere. Oh, let me see if I got a butterfly here.
Oh my
Really,
gosh,
really
too many messages.
Oh, do I need to look at those?
No, just messages on my phone. Sorry if I keep sniffing. I've had a cold started getting
Turn it on,
on.
turn it back off again, turn it back on again, turn it back off again.
Started getting a cold Friday. Felt like I just felt terrible on Saturday. Yesterday, I was maybe a little better. Today's
Ozzy
better
was
than
asking if there's a good rotary teaching video for light burn. I don't know. I haven't seen one. There might be one. I've watched almost all of their videos, and I don't know if there's a good one to troubleshoot stuff in there or what.
I've been going to make a rotary video for light burn, and especially to show people how I did the revolver cylinders last year. I just haven't got around to it. It's been almost a year. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, it's Jim's wife's birthday today, so we're gonna tell her happy birthday. So happy birthday, Jim's wife.
Happy birthday, Jim's wife. I'm waving.
He said he was taking her out for her birthday, and so I said, don't you dare come watch this live stream and get in trouble.
So is this a Jim we know or a different Jim you know?
Yeah, McCall. He's in the chat.
Oh, okay. Well, he should have got his wife
Melissa.
a 175 mil. He should have got Melissa a 175 millimeter lens for her birthday.
Yeah, I know.
Why was he not thinking about that?
You're very welcome. My son's birthday is November 14th, so I get a rifle for his birthday every year until he's old enough to use it, which was 4 years ago. I still haven't stopped.
So you get a rifle for his birthday?
Well, sure.
Well, I think that sounds reasonable. All right. There's what it looks like before I take the paint off. But cylinder correction did reach around that whole thing, and there's not much space left on the side.
Right.
So let me find my
Was that
sprayer.
still your 300?
That is correct. Let's see. What power am I using on the 300? Well, I'm using a 120 watt fiber laser, so my setting will be different than yours for sure. But I'm right. For this, I ran 45% power. So just imagine maybe that'd be like 100% at 1 at 60 bucks. And since I increased the power, this looks very consistent and looks way better than the first one on the sides. So let me put the black in there.
Oh, let's change that so it does the double.
And where I restarted Lightburn, I forgot to enable cylinder correction. So this is even wider than
I've done that so many times.
but where I restarted it. But anyway, there's a good view of how wide you can go. Let's see. Let me just pop that up there. There we go. Not sure what caused that line in there, but even when I'm using the UV, every once in a while, look at my face out there. There will be lines that show up in the engraving, like you can see there. Sorry, try it again. There it is. And it normally follows the grain, if you will, of the glass. So it's like something's different with the glass just in that little area. But
yeah, on this glass, there's a wavy part in one of the sides right there. And it looks weird. The engraving, it kind of, it did something weird in the glass. The rest of these look fine.
let's see. For the 30 watt, let me show those settings again for you. Let me get back. There's the settings for a 30 watt and a 175 lens. So if you're going to a 300 lens, you would just be able to compensate by increasing your power and increasing your line distance. So if your line distance was probably like a 0.45, and your power probably double it, roughly, you'd be in the ballpark. It's a clear Stein. Yeah, those are totally clear. Yeah, there's just a distinct line. Unless I happened to move something or bump something while it was running. I don't think I did, though. All right. So I think should have had enough time to get those
I think
settings
I may
up.
have gotten the paint a little too thick on that one. I'm going to have to run a third pass.
There's the other settings. I'll leave those up there so you can write them down.
Oh, let that cool down though. It's hot. Oh man, my allergies are kicking up. 10:20 already.
Yep. We're at an hour. I think we've got everybody's questions so far. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. How many people saw the video that I released before this live stream? Jeremy raised his hand.
Tony, I do photos on steel, and I run into the grain issue quite a bit on certain pieces of it. You do a cleaning pass, and I tell you what, you get them weird waves in it. Sometimes they just throw that picture off so bad you got to chuck it. Yeah, Patrick, that's a cool knife. I like that knife.
Yeah, and for the price, I'm surprised. Plus, I like they call it, automatic change and semi-automatic and magazines, and makes all these nice clicky sounds like this. All right, file, save. Man, what is going on?
Is that?
All right, Jerry, I need to get to that refresh thing we posted. Settings. Devices, cameras. Let me go to Blackmagic. Rotation. I'll have to change the refresh rate whenever it's disabled. I could disable it for a minute.
So I got to run this thing some extra on one of these words in my setup here, because I got some thick paint.
Thick paint?
Yeah. So I'm dismantling my artwork just a little bit so I can run one word that's written in the bottom. It's a nice thing about these programs. You can dismantle stuff and just pick a little tiny part and do it if you have to just to get it right. Yep. That's all I'm going to do because she moved.
All right, I'm going to start this camera back up again. All right, I had Windows reset the camera. Let's see what happens. How's it looking?
It's not that thin. Well, it's very veiled. You can see it a little bit. That's really too thin of lines.
I think my flickering has stopped for the moment. Lightburn's still open. Interesting. I even have the laser set for no camera.
That one turned out a little better. Well, it's wonderful I can get all this stuff worked out live in front of y'all that I don't know what I'm doing. Let me see if I can get something black in there.
No, that's Murphy's live stream law.
Yep, that's okay.
Just got to overcome the obstacles. What else? I was trying to think if there's anything else I can show you guys. You saw the two mugs. The piece of flat glass that I was going to engrave for you, it's not coated very well, so it looks terrible. I could get some of the plates that I did back around Mother's Day that I'm saving for the next Mother's Day. Let me go grab a couple of those. I'll show those to you. In the meantime, Jeremy will bring his engraving back over. Oh.
There, I put a little black Kydex down there so you can see it.
So bring it a little closer. Now I can see it. Now kind of spin it to the right and left a little bit. Hey, that looks familiar.
Yeah, did that for a buddy of mine in New York. There you go.
Well, if anybody wants that artwork, I've got a video on it where you can get it free. It's good.
Figured it was fitting for tonight. So anyways, on the subject of stuff that actually does work, I'm working on some coasters today. It's probably one of my new favorites. A photograph. And I have a setting that I just stumbled on today.
Okay, so these plates I did with the same method that I just showed here, and I might have did one of these plates on the previous video. There's Moms Make Life Beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Done on a fiber laser. There's another one. Done on a fiber laser. I have the one that I did the crosshatch pattern in that made it like a two-tone. I just have to find it. There's 2023 Best Mom Ever. Let's see. All right. There's a few more examples. Just to let you know that you can do glass with your fiber laser.
Yeah, Jay, I am in Michigan. I'm over in West Michigan. Right there in the crook of the pinky. Jim, I'm not running at all, man. I'm too tired.
Yep, I'm tired too. I think we got all the questions wrapped up. We're at an hour and 15 minutes, so we good time to wrap it up. Jack, I want to see that floppy disk. Jack said he did a floppy disk slate coaster. Doom floppy disk.
I think he put it on. He put it on the Facebook page.
Oh, I cannot keep up with looking at Facebook stuff. Just trying to do my own stuff. I end up not looking at anything else a lot of the time. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, it is 10:28, so I think that's about it. We'll just go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and interacting in the comments. Appreciate it. Jeremy, thanks for being here and running your examples.
Well, I tried.
Working through the gremlins.
Yep. Yeah, it's a constant struggle sometimes getting these things to work right, but that's okay.
I'm noticing my camera's not flickering, so in the future, my solution will be to just have Windows reset the camera services and see what happens. You're welcome, Jim. You want to promote your website or anything?
Who, me?
Yeah, or your email or
yeah, it's
whatever.
Just Facebook and my YouTube channel, HTL Holsters. I don't have a
HTL.
HTL.
That's hold the line. HTL.
Don't type in hold the line because you'll get some guy in Texas. I called him. It was a pretty funny conversation. He answered the phone and I said, "Hey, this is Jeremy from Hold the Line Holsters. How are you today?" And he was like, "So what? I didn't hire anybody. Who are you?"
Oh, that's funny. That probably was an interesting conversation then.
It was about a half hour long. It was pretty good.
Cool. All right, folks. Well, have a good evening, and we'll see you on the next one. Hopefully we'll do another one soon. We'll pick out a topic. If you have any topic suggestions, leave that in the comments before I do this.
Absolutely.
Accepting comments. Yep. Or just leave a comment on one of our other videos on our channels. But that's it. All right, guys. Have a great evening. We'll see you later.
Good night.